Hello, my name is Mitchell Margraf. I am an artist. I'm a composer, I am a writer, and I'm a painter. I'm also a musician. I play music in some ways. So today I'm going to go over what are the most influential works of art, at least in my life, and how they influenced me the most. Yeah, let's get to it. Okay, so how we're going to do this real quick is I'm going to go over two works of art from three different categories. Categories can be paintings, then the second one is going to be books, and then the third one is going to be pieces of music. Okay, so the first work of art we're going to be doing is Francis Bacon's Three Figures at the Base of a Crucifixion. This is an important work of art for me because it was one of the first works of art that I've seen that ever looked like this. I had never seen art that looked like this before. I've never seen art that really disclosed pain and suffering, which at this time in my life was like important to me because I was just wondering about the world and such, which that's a common theme that you may see. There's gonna be like works that are just pure beauty, and then there are works that are pure pain and just like describing life itself. For me, this helped me understand like why painting was important to some people, because it helped people express their pain, especially Francis Bacon, who is somewhat oppressed for being, homosexual in a time where being homosexual is not, okay, and his long string of abuse of his lovers and such of that. So yeah. Okay, so the second work of art that I'm going to be talking about is Van Gogh's self-portrait of 1889. This is important for me because this is what kind of got me into painting. I originally liked it because it just was a bit different. His painting style was off a bit from like the traditional paintings you'd see, such as like the Girl with the Pearl Earring, or like depictions of the Roman gods or the Greek gods or stuff like that. It was just important to me because I wanted to paint like that, and that's kind of what got me into painting. So now I'm going to be moving on to writings. The first book that I'm going to be talking about is Albert Camus' The Stranger, or The Outsider, depending on the translation you're using. This book, the first time I read it was it was on a testing day in school. I had forgotten my other book that I was reading, and so I went to the library and picked up the shortest book I could find, which was Albert Camus' The Stranger, being only 123 pages, the version I had. And I read it basically after the test, and it was I read it in like an hour or hour and a half. It was a brilliant book, and it helped me understand my idea of the world. It kind of gave me, I always thought the world was too absurd to a point about how it didn't make sense in a way. And that book kind of gave me the understanding that, oh yes, that our lives kind of don't matter in a way. That we all, at least my opinion, there have been between 105 to 110 billion people on this planet in the 200,000 years that humans have been alive. It kind of doesn't make sense, but we have to make our name for ourselves, at least for a certain time. And so that kind of gave me that understanding. And that's why I kind of also tried to write an operetta based off the ending of the book. The second book I'm going to be talking about is Margaret Atwood's Stone Mattress, which is a collection of 9 wicked stories. It was, again, it was a book I just picked up somewhere. I think it was at Barnes & Noble, and I read it really quickly, and I absolutely loved it. I loved that Margaret Atwood was writing from the beginning. I remember The Handmaid's Tale previously, along with Alias Grace and The Blind Assassin. And I loved it. I loved the 9 stories about how just weird they were and grotesque, and the grotesqueness is what drew me to it. I feel like as an artist, being grotesque is like some sort of identity form for me. It's like it gives a stamp on my writings or on my music or on my paintings. Now moving on to music. The first music I'm going to be talking about is Alban Berg's Wozzeck. Wozzeck was a piece of music that was written in like the early 1900s. It was a piece that used bits of 12-tone theory. It was an 8-tonal opera, and it was an interesting story for me. I didn't really understand the story when I first read it. When I first saw it when I was in like 3rd grade. I just understood that it was music that I'd never heard before. It was strange and weird. But then I later found out the story about how it's about this deranged man who's been abused by the captain and the doctor to the point where he kills his wife after, she cheats on him, and then dumps her body by a lake. Goes back to town, tells the best friend of the wife about it, then goes back to throw the knife in the lake to get rid of it, and then he goes deeper and accidentally drowns himself, which is interesting, I think. So the next piece of music I'm going to be talking about is Krzysztof Penderecki's Threnody to the Victims of Hiroshima. Threnody to the Victims of Hiroshima was a piece for strings, I believe 52 strings, written in the 1960s. It was dedicated to, of course, the victims of Hiroshima, and of course it sounds like absolute hellfire. It uses a number of extended techniques as well as just playing the highest notes on the instrument. And it was influential for me because I had never heard music like this before. It's like, I grew up with the New World to me. It opened up what music could sound like and still be beautiful, like being beautiful. It kind of like, wait, what the heck? But now I feel it as beautiful. I see Westwood music as beautiful. Even though his new, later styles have changed to something more along the lines of more tonal. I like his Horn Concerto is another great work that I love. He still is like one of like the staple composers in my world, and I will never forget it. Okay, so that was my most influential works. I want to see yours. Please tag me, stuff like that. This is based off of David Bruce's video, so if David Bruce is watching this, you know, hi, I love your work. Always love your work. So, yeah. See you on the flip side.